Hey everybody, welcome to Bleacher Reports. This is Bring the Noise. I'm Danny Kleppinger, joined by Brad Evans. We're getting super excited for the slate of games that are happening today. We're going to go over every single one of them, give you our best advice for who you should play this week, who you should sit, who's a bust and who's a bank, and we are going to go through all of it. And as always, please continue to ask questions throughout the chat. We will pull them out. We will answer them. We will make sure that you're going to have a successful day because we want to have one as well. Brad, I know for myself, my first question off the top before we get into these games is Brock Bowers. I'm nervous because it's a Monday game. Do we start him? Do we sit him? Is he going to play? What's going to happen?
Yeah, look, I'm not a physician by any stretch of the imagination. I have no ties to the Las Vegas Raiders, but the fact that he practiced yesterday is a very encouraging sign. I would clack and clack and roll the dice. Their team in Vegas, for crying out loud. And hopefully you're going to come up splashing the pod. I think he is going to play. Michael Mayer, you might want to pick up and have as a contingency plan just in case, or somebody else on Monday night just in case, available to tight end position, maybe like a Tyler Conklin, for example, the LA Chargers. But again, as a gambling man, I would definitely say that Brock Bowers, I believe, will indeed suit up.
Okay, I do believe I'm going to roll the dice on that one and join you in that. Remember, everybody, please type in questions as we go over the games. We will continue to pipe in those questions as we get rolling here. Let's jump right into it, Brad, and start with this Cowboys-Giants game. Cowboys favored by 5.5 in this NFC East battle. What do you think is going to happen? Who are you banking on?
Well, look, I think Dak Prescott, first and foremost, is going to stab back and storm back with a vengeance. I think he's going to throw for at least 2 passing touchdowns. But one of my favorite offerings out there, let's take it to the bank. CeeDee Lamb, all I need is one stinking rush yard. And we cash in there at plus 100. A guy that should be spectacular for fantasy football devices. He did this 9 times last year, ran 14 times, had 70 rush yards, average over 5 yards per carry. And he's actually done this in 3 of his last 5 matches. Matchups against the G-Men. So Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, both these guys should really have some nice fantasy efforts, assuming that CeeDee applied some of that stickum on the hands after the case of dropsies last week.
I think it's a great point, especially with Dak Prescott. He's beaten the Giants 13 straight times, and the Giants allowed 20 fantasy points to Jaden Daniels last week. So I feel like he's going to have a big game. Love what you're doing there. On the other side, I'm going to look at Malik Neighbors to have success because he played so well against Dallas the last 2 games last year. He had 20 of 28 targets for 184 yards. That was an average of about 9 yards per reception. So I think he's going to play really well against them. Again, he's my favorite target there on the other side of the football if we're not talking about the Cowboys, because obviously this Dallas defense is a little bit banged up. So I like Malik Neighbors in this one. We're starting to get some questions in here, Brad. There's JS wants to know Waddle or Aaron Jones for flex if it's a full PPR league.
Yeah, it makes it really tight. Aaron Jones, I think, is going to be that lightning complement in the backfield with Jordan Mason, who's more the Thunder, of course. But he's a threat there in the pass game. I honestly think there is a higher floor with Aaron Jones than anything affiliated with the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, we'll see what version of Tyreek Hill shows up. And, of course, he's got a lot of off-the-field distractions with the allegations that are tied to him. Jalen Waddle is always a guy that can get nicked and scraped in games. I don't trust him. Give me Aaron Jones.
Yeah, so interesting. A player meeting after 1 loss is kind of sketchy. We'll get to that Dolphins game here in just a bit. Let's get to Seahawks and Steelers. Steelers are favored by 3.5 because Aaron Rodgers pulled out that close win over the Jets in week 1. Seattle, tough turn of events there against the Niners last week. But I'm loving the revenge factor. DK Metcalf tried to say that that's not going to be the case here today, that the media is the one that's creating that big narrative. But you mean to tell me that after spending 6 seasons in Seattle, over 900 receiving yards, and you got a guy like Rodgers that at your quarterback position that I think he loves the narrative where he can, punk somebody or punk a team. I think Rodgers just gives all the opportunities to DK Metcalf today.
I think that's an excellent call. I ranked him wide receiver 12. My fantasy ranks there at thegamingjuice.com. Go there. Check them out for free at thegamingjuice.com. It is not going to be Charbonnet all day for your boy. I'm going to leave the cork in the bottle. I think Charbonnet
Really?
is in a full-blown timeshare. And I know Pittsburgh got gashed. They got beat up on the front line of attack last week by, of all teams, New York Jets. But this was supposed to be the stingiest and stoutest defensive line in the NFL coming into the regular season. That's what Pro Football Focus ranked him as. And Charbonnet's advanced data was unsightly in week one. RB 33 yards created per touch, RB 42 yards after contact per attempt, only forced a couple of missed tackles. I fear a hot hand situation with Walker the third. I'm taking the under on Zach Charbonnet, 46.5 rush yards. And I think he has a stanky fantasy performance as well.
Wow, busting Charbonnet here early and often. Okay, let's talk about some of these tight end questions because we've got a few rolling in. JH Bill wants to know if you start Tyler Warren over Kelsey.
Yeah, actually, I think I would. I mean, Kelsey, I think is a bigger touchdown threat, but if you want a higher floor, it's going to be with Warren. I guess 4 to 5 receptions, at least 45 to 50 yards today.
Wu Tang also has a tight end question. This is a full PPR league. Laporta or Kincaid?
I'm not Kincaid. I got to see it again to prove me wrong. So I'm going to go with Sam Laporta in a game with a lot of shootout appeal against my Chicago Bears.
No kidding. Actually, Kincaid is my other option if I wasn't going to start Bowers. So it's nice to know that you're giving another stamp of approval there to be like, hey, keep Kincaid on the bench. Okay, let's get to the action happening in Nashville, shall we? The Titans and the Rams. Rams are favored by 5.5. I guess any of those question marks surrounding Matthew Stafford and his health were put to rest after 245 yards with a touchdown and no interceptions against the Texans. That was pretty impressive. I think the Rams defense is a big play here in this one. They allowed just 9 points last week to the Texans, 3 sacks, 2 interceptions. I mean, they played really well, and you're going up against a rookie quarterback, Cam Ward, who was sacked 6 times in week one. So if you're looking for a defensive start, I really like the Rams here. Brad, what are you looking at in this one?
Oh, let's go deep into the cupboard here. And Alik Ayamanor, I'm going to take the over on 16.5 yards on the longest catch. And a guy that could be sneaky good for you sickos out there that play in like 14-team or deeper leagues or like multiple flex positions. The reason why I'm on Ayamanor is a guy had 7 targets, very healthy in week one against that vaunted secondary of the Denver Broncos. Only had a couple of catches for 13 yards, but he was numero 5 among all wide receivers in total air yards. In week one, he was also top 10 in ADOT, 28% team target share. I got to see Forbes, Emmanuel Forbes in coverage. He was just number 50 and pass coverage grade after a week. So I think Cam Ward is going to uncork down the field to Ayamanor. If they connect on a couple of splashy plays, obviously he's going to cash the over on longest catch. And I think, too, he's got an outside shot at 50 yards.
We're getting a lot of questions rolling in, so let's just get through some of these rapid fire. Weasley Potts wants to know Pearsall or Coleman. Who would you start and who would you sit?
Yeah, do you believe in Mac Jones? Look, I have a dad bod. Mac Jones has a dad bod. Power to the dad bods, Ricky Pearsall.
Okay, and on that note, I got nothing to add when it comes to the dad bod talk. Let's get to J Fig. This is a PPR flex league. Zay Flowers or Javonte Williams?
Zay Flowers or Javonte Williams. Again, I got to see lightning strike twice or juggernaut Javonte. The advanced metrics were unsightly. I go the other way. Go with the receiver.
I agree. We're going to get into Zay Flowers a little bit as well because I do have a little bit of a gambling angle there for Zay Flowers. I think he's going to have a really big game. Now, Selly XCX wants to know if you would start Dak Prescott or Caleb Williams. We just talked about Dak Prescott and his tremendous record against the Giants, but you know, your guys in the Bears, you're very biased going up against the Lions today. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, the bias is always bleeding through on your boy, and I love the rushing appeal, and I think this game is going to be much higher scoring than some people anticipate. It's ultra close, super close, but give me the Dak attack.
All righty, let's get into Bills Jets, shall we? Bills are favored by 6. You think there's somebody that's going to pick up a touchdown today? That's going to add some points on the board.
Yeah, and a guy that may have some flex appeal, again, in challenging formats. Braylon Allen, he splashed 6 last week. Now, he had some god-awful Sufris numbers, to say the least. 6 carries, only 9 yards with that touchdown. But the 3 red zone totes that really stands out to me. Breece Hall is going to be arguably the main primary between the 20s rusher for this team. But I think Braylon Allen is a great shot of crossing the chalk at plus 235. Remember, no Ed Oliver in uniform, the man eater in the trenches for the Buffalo Bills, and they got spanked by Seagull Smashel. Oh, the football Frankenstein, Derrick Henry last week. So don't be shocked if Braylon Allen flirts with double-digit fantasy points. Yes, a guy coming off a 9-yard contest. I think he'll do much better in week 2.
Well, also, that Jets defense allowed 175 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns to opposing wide receivers last week. So, because of that, my eyes on Keon Coleman. Not only did score, I also think he goes over his 44 and a half receiving yards prop and just parlay them together. You're going to get some nice, juicy plus money. But 8 receptions on 11 targets, 112 yards and a touchdown in week 1. He went over this mark in 5 out of the 8 games last year before he suffered that wrist injury. I'm all about Keon Coleman in this game today. Next up, we got to talk about that Patriots-Dolphins matchup. The Dolphins are favored by 2.5. My gosh, they looked rough in the first week. So rough that, Brad, they had to hold that meeting. I don't know if that's great signs there. Mike McDaniel, is he on the way out? These are questions that don't matter at the moment. We're talking about fantasy. Who are you looking at? Who's starting? Who's going to make an impact?
Oh, let's go with the dynamite derriere. That is one Kayshon Boutte. See what I did there? I'll take the over on 37.5 receiving yards. I don't think week 1 was anomalous. I don't think it was a mirage. Over 100 yards on 8 targets, caught 6 balls. A product of LSU. I could really be taking that quantum leap here in year 3 in the league. He was top 5 in total air yards last week, and you're going against one of the worst secondaries in the league. Primarily going to see Rasul Douglas in coverage. Douglas in week 1 against the Colts gave up 18.7 yards per catch. Don't you dare sleep on Kayshon Boutte.
I don't know. I also like Hunter Henry in this game to get at least 4 receptions, but because he's done that in 8 of 11 games that he started last year. But he was on the field for nearly 93% of the snaps. So, he's a viable option there for Drake May. Let's talk some of these questions. Kyle Burks wants to know Kyler Murray or Justin Fields. Who's getting the start?
Justin Fields, and I got him by a significant margin over the Dachshund of the Desert. Man, those legs are going to be working really for both these guys, but Fields, more of a threat to score on the ground.
Mid-range Moses wants to know in a flex position, Kamara, or would you go with Travis Etienne?
Oh, look at you in a very shallow league having such luxurious options in your flex. I'm actually going to go with Travis Etienne and that feline fracas in Cincinnati. Could be a banner campaign back-to-back weeks for Etienne.
Another tight end question here from Blessed Cowboy. Fannin or Pitts?
I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm going to have to shower after dispensing this advice, but Kyle Pitts, believe it or not.
Really?
Over 50 receiving yards in week 1. We know that Darnell Mooney and Drake London are expected to be active. They practice on a limited basis and practice in full on Friday, but they still have those dinged wings. Pitts could be a point of emphasis over the middle in a game that I think is going to be higher scoring than some people suspect. Yikes, I can't believe I'm saying this. They need to throw maybe a pinch of salt over the shoulder, but give me Kyle Pitts.
Wow. I'm actually shocked by that. Okay, let's get into Jaguars Bengals. Bengals are favored by 3.5. Obviously, the Jags are riding high on confidence after that beatdown over the Panthers to start their season. Both these teams are looking for their first 2-0 start since 2018. So big deal here for both teams. I love Brian Thomas Jr. in this one. I like his over on his receiving props, his over on receptions. He only caught 1 pass for 9 yards in that opener. I just think that's an absolute anomaly. This is Trevor Lawrence's top target. Those targets are going to lead to receptions. They're going to lead to yards. Their passing game just struggled to find rhythm in week 1. I don't think that that's what's going to happen here. The Bengals had one of the worst passing defenses of the entire NFL last season. I don't think you improve that much over one offseason. He has to get going. He was able to find the end zone last week. I think he does that. I think he goes over his receiving yards prop. I think he has a big game.
Oh, how about the rebound narrative applying to one Jamar Chase, who you drafted likely number 1 overall in your fantasy league. I love a little step ladder here. I took the over on 87.5 receiving yards. I took it at the next step at 90 plus at even money. I would go for 100 plus receiving yards at even better juice. I think he's got a banner fantasy week coming off his last 10 games in which he had a sub 50-yard receiving performance. The next game, he is averaging 100.3 yards per game. Take a chill pill, folks, on the Bengals. They're going to bang in week 2.
Okay, well, what about the Niners? Because they're certainly in an interesting spot here. Going up against the Saints, they're favored by 3, even with Brock Purdy out. Obviously, George Kittle placed on the IR with a hamstring injury as well. New Orleans lost to Arizona last week. It doesn't look like Spencer Rattler really improved all that much this offseason. Hate to say it. But you're all about the CMC factory in this one, not only in the running game, but the passing game as well.
Yeah, is he gonna make you sweat? Bum, 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 baby. I don't think so. I'm crushing the over on 4.5 receptions. He is going to be a PPR stud here in week 2. Mac Jones really featured Travis Etienne early and often in the pass game when he was at the controls last season of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Etienne averaged nearly 3 receptions per game. Let's see, Christian McCaffrey, Travis Etienne, not remotely close in terms of talent. So I think CMC is going to be a very busy man. The short to intermediate field. Juwan Jennings trending in the right direction, should be active for this game, but he's still not at 100%, nor George Kittle, still no Brandon Ayuk. Love Ricky Pearsall, as already mentioned as well. And I'll give you one deep sleeper in fantasy. Maybe you were that kennel manager that is desperate for a plug-and-play tight end. How about his backup, Jay Tonjes? Yes, I bet on the over on his receiving yards prop as well. Just 13.5 yards.
Wow.
He could be a shocker special today.
I also think that Mac Jones isn't gonna, I don't think the sky falls because Mac Jones is in
Right.
there at quarterback.
Yep.
I actually think Kyle Shanahan, has been very vocal that he liked him coming out of college as well. There's obviously so many options surrounding Mac Jones out there today. And the Saints are so bad. So I don't know why this narrative of Mac Jones not having a massive week is weird. I think you should have a little bit more faith in him. Understandable, maybe elsewhere, but there with the Shanahan system, I feel like could have a big day. Let's get to some more questions. I see them coming in here. YM Noor is it a pick 2? McMillan, Calvin Ridley, or Keenan Allen?
Definitely Keenan Allen top of the list, and I'm going to go Tedero and McMillan as well. Look, I love Calvin Ridley. I don't love this matchup against a stingy, stout, and effective Rams secondary.
Okay, in a full, PPR flex league, H Mayers, I hope I got that right, wants to know Judy, J.K. Dobbins, or Hollywood Brown.
Oh, Hollywood Brown, please. J.K. Dobbins is entirely touchdown contingent, and I think that Colts defense is top 10 at a minimum. Yeah, man, I think Hollywood Brown is going to be playing that Xavier Worthy role. He's listed as doubtful, so a lot of like snacking, dinking, and dunking, a little nickel damer to go Billy Graft on you. That is the expectation I have for Hollywood Brown this week.
Texans fan wants to know if they should keep Amarian Hampton as his flex.
For the love of the fantasy gods, yes.
Okay.
You saw the opportunity share as well, north of 85%. A much better matchup taking on the Raiders. So the Raiders were top 5 in rush EPAD in week 1. Again, I'm going to follow the volume. And I also like the secondary analytics profile. He was top 20 in yak per attempt, total yak, missed tackles forced, and yards created per touch. Take a chill pill. Everything's going to be fine. Amarian Hampton is going to be that dude, though that offensive line is a little bit rickety in the City of Angels.
Over on our YouTube chat, because of course you can watch this on the Bleacher Report app and on YouTube, JMSG wants to know, and I'm laughing because this used to be your guy, Brad. You wanted to tattoo his name to your thigh. How are we feeling about Pacheco?
Oh, I thought you were going to say mandatory Montgomery.
Nope.
Yeah, Pacheco is up there. That might be on a left cheek. I think that's where the location is of that tattoo. Look, I do like the Punisher quite a bit. I think he's got to have a much better affair compared to what he had in week 1, especially given the absences on that front line defensively for Philadelphia. And they're only number 19 in rush EP80. Decent shot at a touchdown. I just wouldn't go bonkers. I expect like 50 to 60 yards and maybe that score. That's about it.
Christopher O wants to know, would you play Flowers, Sutton, or Egbuka? It's a pick 2 PPR.
I'm going to go number 1, Emeka Egbuka. I think he catches at least 5 passes on Monday Night Football. And I will go with Cortland Sutton, not Zay, for the second option. Yeah, because I believe Cortland Sutton, he is a money man inside the red zone when it comes to Bo Nix. Bo Nix just locks into him in those situations with that long, lanky frame. I think he scores a touchdown again.
We'll get to the Bo Nix part of this in a moment. Let's talk about that Browns Ravens game because I like Zay Flowers. He was targeted 9 times. He got called
Yeah.
in 7 of them in week 1, averaged about 4.5 yards per reception last season. And I do believe his role seems to be increasing. Targeted 12 times for 7 receptions against the Browns in week 8 last season. So I don't know. I think you're sleeping a little bit too much on Zay Flowers, but maybe it was just that particular lineup of guys to choose from in that one. But this line is wild. Ravens are favored by 12.5 in this AFC North showdown. Who are you looking at in this one?
Yeah, let's go with the Brown side of things. Cedric Tillman, who I think is a Rodney Dangerfield all-star. He gets no respect, I tell you, no respect. I like the over on 39.5 receiving yards. And yes, I am actually starting him. I got a 14-team, 3 wide receiver league requirement for those starters, and he is on my WR3. I had a double-digit fantasy output in week 1, and he had 8 targets, 5 catches, 52 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, the secondary analytics were not that great, but Nathan Wiggins, his primary projected assignment, was only number 78 in coverage grade in the opener. So don't be surprised if Cedric Tillman pays them fantasy bills yet again.
Well, Elijah is begging in the YouTube chat to get an answer to starting Mahomes or Fields. So why don't you give Elijah your advice?
Yeah, are you anticipating Mahomes running wild like he did last week? I say pump the brakes if you do believe in that narrative and notion. Justin Fields, we do know, is going to run. It's probably going to be a minimum of 8 times. I think he's going to cross at least 40 yards in the ground. Really good shot of finding the end zone with the not only the arm, but also with the leg. So more multi-TD upside compared to Patty Mahomes. That belongs to Justin Fields.
Let's get into this Bears Lions matchup because obviously I know that's where your attention is going to be today, if not everywhere, but for sure on this one. As a Bears fan, we actually have a question about Caleb Williams here today. Liam Glassglow wants to know, would you start Caleb Williams, Aaron Rodgers, or Joe Burrow?
Joe
Yeah.
Burrow? Are we doubting Joe Burrow after one game against a Cleveland team that certainly had Cincinnati's number? Come on, man. It's Joe Burrow all day. Don't think twice about it.
All right. Well, the Lions are favored over the Bears by nearly a touchdown in this one. I do think that Caleb Williams will use his legs a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think Ben Johnson is going to start to use that a little bit more frequently. I know that the Lions have that daunting defensive front, but he had 6 carries for 58 yards. He had his first ever rushing touchdown. I think it's one of those things that you just pick up momentum. So if you have Caleb Williams, I think he's going to have a pretty good day there, despite the fact that the Lions defense is so strong. You like one of the receivers there for Caleb Williams as well.
Hey, Mr. DJ. Yeah, DJ Moore. I'll take the over of 53.5 receiving yards. I think he's going to cross the 60-yard mark in this game. I think he's going to be a top 20 fantasy wideout as well, coming off a really excellent week 1 in which he had 5 targets, 3 catches for 68 yards. Didn't find the end zone, but he was top 10 at ADOT, averaged 22.7 yards per catch, number 5 in average yards of separation per target. And here's what's most important, DK, the history against the Lions. 6 career games for DJ Moore. He's averaging 102.2 yards per game.
Wow.
Big week for DJ Moore.
Yeah, history is definitely on his side of things. That's for sure. Let's talk about Broncos Colts. Broncos are favored by 2.5. Hot Mike user wants to know if Bo Nix is going to bounce back.
In some form and fashion. Look, I think he's going to be a borderline QB1 in 12-team leagues. I did wager on him to go for at least 20 rush yards. So when in the alt market, I got that in even Steven Little baby seduced by the juice at plus 100. I mean, the guy had 26.7% of the team's carry share in week 1, 8 totes for 18 yards. You got an aggressive defense. The Colts, Lou Anarumo's D really dialed it up. They were number 11 in pocket pressure rate in week 1. So Nick's the runner really raises the floor of his potential fantasy output. So again, borderline QB1 and 12 teamers, but I do like the over on 20 plus rush yards.
On the other side of things, on the Colts side, Daniel Jones, obviously a really strong start to his Colts career, but his rookie tight end seems to be a focal point. So I like Tyler Warren to get into the end zone today. He was utilized all over the field. 9 touches, 8 targets, 7 receptions, a total of nearly 80 yards. I think he's going to have another big game there. We got to talk Panthers Cardinals as well. Cardinals are favored by 6.5 against this Panthers team that is yikes. What are you looking at in this one? And we got to talk Kyler Murray after you tell me who you're looking at on the ground.
Yeah, look, the Rip Van Winkle on that Arizona roster is Trey Benson. Folks, he had 8 carries, 69 nice yards in week one, a massive 52-yard run, displaying that top 10 yards after contact per attempt, displaying elite speed as well. I think Arizona's going to be in command in this game. Carolina is on pace to be a bottom feeder yet again in rush defense, so don't be shocked if Benson gets at least 10 totes on the ground, maybe eclipses 60 yards again, and finds the end zone. Flexi, sexy, ooh la la, is one Trey Benson this afternoon.
Okay, Kyler Murray was sacked 5 times last week. That's insane. But I just want everybody to know the Panthers did not log not one single pressure in their week one loss to the Jaguars. So just keep that in mind. Let's get through some of these questions, Brad, because we got a lot of them piling up here. Lulolos in the YouTube chat, in a full PPR league, Swift or Hollywood in his final flex spot. Someone please help.
Really, this is a slam dunk and a full point PPR. You had me instantaneously at Hollywood Brown. Next.
Alrighty, Jason Ortiz also in the YouTube chat. Start one, full PPR, Nick Chubb, Pittman. Surtain is obviously probably going to be guarding him quite a bit, just shadowing him all day. Jalen Warren or Waddle. Wow, what a lineup.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jalen Warren, actually. Guy I think is going to get probably 13 to 15 touches. A handful of those could come through the air and a decent shot to find the end zone as well. Highest floor of that quattro is with a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Okay, gonna rapid fire get through some of these. Some more, Brad, here. Ice cold OG Jones, T. Higgins, or Keenan Allen?
T. Higgins.
All righty. Herbotron, Xavier Leggett, or Rashad White?
Barf. Leggett.
Sorry, Herbotron. He didn't mean it. It's nothing personal. TJ Slow Hosey. Hello, everyone. Is it Pittman Jr. or Drake London? Who should make the start?
What? Drake London. What are we doing?
He's literally just don't take his comments personal, people. He means it from the deepest part of his heart.
You're getting too cute.
Ty, my friend over in the YouTube chat, wants to know Devontae Adams or DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf, and I think you concur with me on that one, Captain.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I love this whole like revenge thing, and with Aaron Rodgers, he's so petty. I just think DK Metcalf's gonna have a really big game. I could be eating my words, but KCJ9, Caleb Williams or Bo Nix?
I'll go Caleb here.
Michael G over in the YouTube chat wants to know Ridley or Pickens in a full PPR league.
Oh, man, that's really tough, especially with the low amount of catches with Pickens. Give me the Riddler.
All right, we got a couple more games to get through that are on the slate today. Eagles, Chiefs. Who are you looking at in this one?
All right, look, if you need another PPR deep sleeper, I think it's not Hollywood Brown. He doesn't qualify as a sleeper, folks. I think it's honestly Juju Smith-Schuster. I took him for 4 more receptions, and I got that at plus 160 before the Xavier Worthy news broke that he is listed as doubtful and is unlikely to play today. I mean, Juju had a respectable game down south of the equator. 5 catches, 55 yards. Appreciable. He was number 12 in total yak. Again, whether lining up in the slot, which are where he lines up about 30% of the time, or outside, I think Juju is somebody that could have a breakout performance here in week 2 against an Eagles secondary. If he gets any piece of Adoree Jackson, that's nearly the G word, the L word, because Jackson allowed the most yards to his assignments in week 1.
Okay. I hope that AJ Brown has amnesia because I'm trying to have amnesia over what happened last week. Just one catch was the fourth quarter, 8 yards. He's on my starting roster, Brad. And so I have to feel slightly more optimistic about this year. I do think, or this game, I think this matchup's a bit more favorable for him. The Chiefs secondary was absolutely shredded last week by Justin Herbert for 318 yards. I think they're going to start to prioritize AJ Brown, get him involved a lot more this game. There is a little bit of desperation in the tone of my voice on that one as well, but I do think he's going to go over 75 yards. I think this is a completely different week. I can't tell if you look like you're agreeing with me or disagreeing with me, but guess what? I don't care. Let's get to Falcons.
Oh, no, I'll give you the answer. You want the answer?
What is it
right now? Truth be told, again, my spreadsheet, which I've been able to procure again, so this will verify it. I have A.J. Brown to have the most receiving yards in that game at plus 180. So you and I very much in lockstep.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you had A.J. Brown, don't panic. This week's going to be fine. Falcons, Vikings. The Vikings are favored by a field goal. What are you looking at?
I think Jordan Mason's got fantasy flame potential. I think he's going to score score anytime touchdown as well. I grabbed that at plus 110. Impressive 15 carries, 68 yards against Maine Chicago Bears in that meltdown on last Monday. And a guy, again, getting appreciable yards after contact per attempt. He was top 10 in that category after 1 week of play. He is the Thunder complement for Skull, of course, with Aaron Jones operating as a Lightning. And again, I like the matchup here on paper, although Atlanta is at number 9 in rush EPA defense after a week. I think Mason finds the end zone and puts up around what he did last week, around 60, 65 yards on the ground.
Look at us go. Went through the whole Sunday slate. Of course, we got those Monday games to talk about as well, but gives us a nice little opportunity here to answer some more questions. We already did Caleb Williams or Bo Nix. Let's get to Bo 79, Samson Diggs or Jordan Mason. It's a PPR and he's looking for a flex position.
As I mentioned, double down, Jordan Mason.
All right. And should I pick up Juwan Johnson and drop Christian Kirk? That's what JMSG wants to know.
Interchangeable. Really, it's a fair exchange. I think Juwan Johnson, is he going to see another 11 targets like he saw last week? Probably not. But Spencer Rattler clearly has some affections for him. And Christian Kirk's got a nasty hamstring injury, and those soft tissue issues, what do? They linger. Give me Johnson.
Yeah, it's tough. Trevin FR in the YouTube chat wants to know about his tight end spot, David Njoku or Dalton Kincaid. We already talked about Kincaid a little bit, but if Njoku's thrown into the mix, who do you like better?
Njoku. Look, I know everybody is head over heels in love with Harold Fannin, but I think you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets there in Cleveland, especially in a game in which they're going to be playing a ton of catch up. At least that's what we all suspect against the Baltimore Ravens. So higher ceiling, I think, for Njoku.
Alex Rod Prescott or May, and Pitts or Hunter Henry?
I'm going to go with Prescott and Kyle Pitts.
I just had to make you say it 2 times in one show. It's so funny. Big J every day in the YouTube chat in the super flex league, excuse me. Should I start Cam Ward or Michael Pittman Jr.?
Always the quarterback every single time. And I know Pittman outproduced him by a wide margin last week, but if Ward gets in the end zone just one time, it's going to be worth starting him. So fire up the quarterback.
Hot Mike wants to know Tet McMillan or Devontae Smith at a flex position.
Devontae Smith, he's got a great history against the Kansas City Chiefs in his career. I think he is going to have a nice bounce back performance. And I think really the point of emphasis, as we already mentioned with A.J. Brown in this game, for Jalen Hurts is going to be with the arm, not so much with the legs.
Oh, Che, shout out from Wyoming. A full PPR league like this. We haven't talked about either of these guys yet. Alvin Kamara or Mike Evans in the flex position?
Oh, my cousin, Mike Evans. No, I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara.
Good. Go with the Tennessee Volunteer, even though, God, we just absolutely crapped the bed yesterday. All right, let's talk about these Monday night matchups. We're about 30 minutes away from kickoff here on Sunday. Keep those questions coming in, but I'm going to take a look at Texans and Bucks. You like Ibuka again?
Yeah, I mean, is he going to score another couple of touchdowns? Probably not. Could he score one? Sure. I think he's going to be around like 5 catches, 65 to 75 yards, where he was fell in that range last week, and a touchdown as well. He had a 143.8 passer rating when targeted by Baker Mayfield a weekend ago. And he look at Houston, middle of the pack and drop back EPA defense. So we got to probably get a lot of Derek Stingley Jr., who had the 7th lowest coverage grade of any DB in week 1. Fire up a Mecca.
I'm absolutely shocked you didn't talk about Nick Chubb. I literally blown away by it because, yes, the Texans struggled offensively last year, but D'Amico Ryan said after the game, I think Chubb ran the ball really well, and we're going to lean into him a little bit more. That's straight from the coach's mouth, everybody. So over 50.5 rushing yards. They obviously spread the ball around their running backs, but based on D'Amico Ryan's comments alone and the fact that he had 60 yards on 13 touches in the first week, I love Nick Chubb. I cannot believe you didn't take the opportunity to talk about Nick Chubb because it's something you always do.
I always order that bottle service behind the velvet rope at the Chubb Club, but you're convincing me to fire off on a player prop in the over rush attempt. So thank you for that, DK.
You're welcome. No problem. That's what I'm here for. Our final game to talk about is Chargers Raiders. It's Chargers that are favored by 3.5 here. Who you looking at? And then we got a couple more questions before we wrap this thing up.
Yeah, I took Amari and Hampton on the over on rush attempts at 13.5. I played the over on 14.5 as well. I think it's going to be at least 15 grips on the ground for the rookie. Yeah, Vegas only number 4 in rush EPA defense. I shouldn't say only. They were outstanding in that capacity in week 1, giving up 3.46 yards per carry New England running backs. But Hampton got 89.5% of the opportunity share. He had 4 red zone touches. And again, the advanced analytics tell a very different story. The eye test tells a very good story as well. Follow the volume, people. Amari Hampton, I think, is going to be an RB2 through and through, even in, say, 10 team leagues this week. So play him.
I like Quentin Johnston because his best game ever as a pro came against the Raiders last year. I know it's an entirely new coaching staff, but speaking of that coaching staff, Pete Carroll had completely took out Stephon Diggs last week. I think he's going to do the same thing with McConkey, which is going to open up more opportunities there for Quentin Johnston. So we have gone through every single game on the slate throughout not only today, but Monday as well. You guys are continuing to pile in your questions. We got a couple minutes. We're going to get to a couple more here. M.A. Arvin or M. Arvin, Nix or J.J. McCarthy?
Give me J.J. McCarthy.
Robbie Schmerda, Tillman or Waddle?
Tillman.
Doodle Bob, Hampton or Tyreek?
Oh, Hampton. Come on, get out with Tyreek.
Oh my gosh, anything Dolphins related, I feel like you're going against here today.
Yep.
There's a theme. Jets blitz, Samson Coleman, Juwan Johnson, full PPR, final flex spot. Who are you taking?
Keon Coleman.
Good pick. And if you were listening earlier, I completely agree. Alex Rod, Metcalf, St. Brown, or Pickens, or, oh my God, Metcalf, St. Brown, Pickens, Javonte Williams, or Collins?
Or Collins? Are they in a 4-team family league?
I don't
or something?
know. That one. Sorry, Alex Rod. We're doing our best here, but
only one? Only one. Is that correct?
Let's go with only one because I actually don't have follow-up, Alex Rod. I'm so sorry. There's so many options.
Nico.
Okay.
Ridiculous, though.
Okay. Anonymous wants to know, or Anon, maybe I'm just guessing it's anonymous. Judy, Sam Laporta, or RJ Harvey in the flex half PPF.
I'm going to go with the tight end, Sam Laporta.
All righty. Let's get in 2 more questions here. I think I answered that one. We've got one coming in here from Riley Jones, Mason, or Charbonnet. You're already out on Charbonnet. It's a pick 2 PPR.
And I'm all in on Jordan Mason. I got to stick to my plays. Jordan Mason.
All righty. And finally, I think there's one more that we wanted to get in here. Jay Green, Sampson, or Pittman at the flex position.
Oh, yuck. That's just wretched. I guess I will go with Dylan Sampson. I want nothing to do with Pittman against Sertan.
Okay, I don't like your energy to end our show that way.
Give me another one.
Like really negative.
Give me another one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't see another one. I just want your favorite pick of the favorite play of the whole day.
Oh, honestly, it's Trey Benson. I wrote about this on the gamingjuice.com, my Fantasy Flames running back. I talked about the Athletic as well in my top props piece. I think Trey Benson is going to be a breakout player for fantasy football devices. It may take a minute, so just relax, folks, because he's still working in concert with James Conner. But come the second half, assuming Arizona has a lead, he's going to come in and eat clock. And as a result, he's going to rack yards. I think it's going to be at least 60 yards and a touchdown. So a lot of flex appeal with the Arizona Cardinal today.
When Brad Evans is enthusiastic about something, you're absolutely always going to know about it, and it's probably a good thing to follow. That has been such a fun show today. Remember, we're going to be here every single week, an hour before kickoff. We appreciate you guys joining us. You can follow him on Noisy Huevos on Twitter and Team Huevos, I believe, on Instagram. Danny Klepp for me on both sites. We appreciate you joining us. Have fun today. Grab a cocktail. Enjoy. Have a great Sunday.
Adios, amigos.